Welcome to Stitches in Time, the podcast discussing Doctor Who the way it was meant to be watched, in chronological order, one clip at a time, starting at the Big Bang and ending with the heat death of the universe. I'm Becca, the Matrix archivist, and I spent the last 12 years of my life meticulously editing the entire televised Doctor Who universe into chronological order.
And I'm Mandy, and I was a stay where you are bride.
What?
I feel like we don't get a lot of representation in the media of just stay where you're. We're always talking about runaway brides. Where are the stay where you are brides?
Yeah, which honestly is most brides, but we don't talk about them.
No, there's not a lot of support, or you don't really see us represented, or we're just kind of the boring option. But I think that it's valid to be a stay where you are bride. And I'm gonna stop talking because the more that I talk, the more that I sound like a fucking trad wife. And that's probably not a good idea.
Well, I mean, you also, along the same lines, you did get married in the city that you live in. You didn't have a destination wedding or anything like that, right?
No. Yeah, I was a true stay where you are bride. I mean, that had more to do with money.
Sure.
I got married across the street from where I live.
That's great. I got married across the country from where I live.
I really recommend it logistically. It was still a pain in the ass. It was a very, very small, more elopement style wedding. And we had some food that we ordered that was brought in, but we also just got a bunch of party trays and stuff from Ralph's because that's an easy place to get stuff from, which is the local grocery store. The grocery store is literally right next to where I got married. It's the next block over. About 30 minutes before I'm going to walk down the aisle, my mom and a bunch of family members, and they come to me and he's like, "Oh, who's going to pick up the trays from Ralph's? We have to get the trays from Ralph's." I'm in a full fucking wedding dress, and they're coming to me and asking me who's going to pick up the food trays. And I just said, I don't give a shit. This is not... my list of things that I cared about was I wanted a hot dress, and I wanted to marry my beloved partner. The rest of it, I did. The food was there for the rest of people's benefits. I didn't... they're all coming to me, and I just... they were like, "Well, what do you want us to do? Who should go? What do we do?" I was like, "You're adults. You're adults, figure it out. You're adults, figure it out." And they kept on asking, "It's oh, we can do..." It's I don't care. I'm not project managing this. You're adults, figure it out.
Honestly, that's a great policy to have.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that you get from a stay where you are bride.
Yeah. I got married before I was a woman, so I got married in a tuxedo and in a beard and everything. It was a really awkward look for me, but the wedding itself was pretty good. We got married on the beach. It was a big... it was a wedding venue. We went all out. And, yeah.
The doctor didn't take you to the beginning of the earth?
No. But at the same time, I also was not marrying a spider minion. So...
Yeah. Speaking of which, we'll go through my little notes.
Yeah.
I have drawn a picture.
Ooh.
Of Donna's real sad. That's Donna.
I see.
Yes. So yeah, if I can just read off my notes here.
Yeah. What do you got?
Maggie Carpenter is a spirited, attractive young woman who has had a number of unsuccessful relationships. Having left a trio of fiancés at the altar on their wedding day, earning local notoriety in the nickname the Runaway Bride. Misanthropic New York columnist Ike Graham writes an unflattering article about Maggie after hearing her story from a man in a bar. Unbeknownst to him, the man is one of her bitter ex-fiancés, and the account is riddled with errors. I can stop at any time.
This is great. I'm having a great time. When does the doctor show up?
Oh, he doesn't. I think I watched the wrong thing.
Oh, no. Yeah, we are talking about the Doctor Who episode, The Runaway Bride, which was the 2006 Christmas special.
it's hard. They both got spirited redheads.
Donna Noble, welcome to the creation of the earth.
Fair. And Runaway Brides.
Yeah, I also selected my t-shirt today to reflect my preferred spirited redhead, Asuka from Evangelion.
I'm a trans woman, and yet I know nothing about anime. So I'm just happy to be here. I would have more time for anime if I didn't spend all my time editing Doctor Who into chronological order. But somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, you gotta. You are doing an important job for the universe, really.
Yeah, I am.
That was the only way to watch the show. Like this is another episode that I have seen. I actually watched it like I think maybe a year ago at your house.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I remember Laser and I were doing a Donna Noble rewatch marathon,
and this
leading up to the 60th anniversary specials.
Yeah, and this had also been around the time that I had tried doing a rewatch of just new Doctor Who and hadn't gotten to this episode yet because my partner, again, my stay where you are, get married partner, recommended that, I use this opportunity to watch all of the spin-offs that also came around that time. So Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures, and I just couldn't get through Torchwood because I hate Jack Harkness so much.
Oh, interesting.
That I just never got to The Runaway Bride.
Oh no.
But then I've learned that the real reason is because I was watching Doctor Who wrong, and you fortunately are here to show me the correct way to watch Doctor Who. So this is my proper introduction to Donna.
You just have to sit through 10 minutes of opening credits and like a minute's worth of other clips.
Yeah, and it's a great introduction because you just have Donna sad in her wedding dress, relatable. The doctor's trying to like cheer her up, and it was like, hey, do you want to see something that no human was made to see? Do you want to see something that God wanted us to forget? And then he shows her Earth.
That God specifically left out of the Bible, so we don't forget it. This is the creation of the planet Earth, which, I get the sense from watching it in this order, I get the sense that this Earth place is going to be important later.
You kind of get that. Like, I mean, granted, they're really focused on, like, it's mostly, like, dust. And it's like, there's just dust everywhere. It's just dusty and like, yeah, that's gonna be Earth. And I don't know what they mean by the dust. Like, maybe someone should vacuum that up so that when Earth comes, it's not gonna be all dusty.
I feel like it'll take care of itself. It's also, I don't know if this is just coincidentally, but Earth is also the name of the planet I'm from. And I think the planet you're from, too. You're from Earth, or? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, is that where Florida is? Because I'm from Florida.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite thing about you, by the way, that you're from Florida.
Oh, it's my least favorite thing about me.
Well, the fact that it's your least favorite thing about you, is my most favorite thing about you. Is that
it's also my least favorite thing about you, is that I'm from Florida.
Oh, God.
We did see, there is a Doctor Who book that takes place in the Everglades. And we meant to buy it, and then I came back the next day, and they were all sold out. So apparently it is a popular Doctor Who book about the Doctor going to Florida, and I assuming wrestle a gator and eating some boiled peanuts.
I have to know more. Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, so the Doctor is showing Donna all this stuff, and is like, look at this. He makes what felt like to be a very weirdly specific jab at us specifically, because they were like, oh, calendars are made up. and time's made up. And how do you feel hearing that, Becca, as somebody who is dedicated to putting things in the right calendar order?
I mean, so I was listening to the audio commentary just on this scene, and it was David Tennant, and I think it's Julie Gardner, who's one of the EPs on it, and they were talking about it as a Christmas episode. Like, wow, are we watching the formation of the Earth happen in a Christmas episode because the Earth was made on Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Christmas didn't happen on Christmas.
That's also true.
Whatever you want to happen on Christmas happened on Christmas.
Especially something like the formation of the Earth, which took millions of years.
Yeah.
Some of those days were Christmases. It is interesting to think about, like, I think you said to me when we were starting to talk about doing this podcast that all this is talking about when Doctor Who events take place in relation to the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, because that's what our calendar is. It's BC and AD. It's all before and after Christ. What is Doctor Who in relation to our Christian God? Which invites the question, because the TARDIS is also showcases like various eras of time, including our but is kind of based around the way that we perceive time, and not the way that I would expect a time traveling alien to perceive time. It's very focused on how we perceive it, and we perceive it in relation to the Christian God.
Right. Which, I mean, is, I don't know what your beliefs are, but I'm a proud ex-Christian agnostic type of person.
Yeah. I was raised Catholic, and I'm still into the vibes. Like, we had impeccable vibes.
The vibes are good. The vibes are sometimes good. I was raised not Catholic, but I was raised in a very progressive church, and I was a choir boy back when I was a boy. So, and that was the part I was into, was the music. Like, I'm the music, and that was like very good for me to have like that musical education as a kid. But like,
what kind of music do they do? Because the thing that I liked about Catholic Church, which I should specify, so my mom was very big into the Catholic Church. And the reason why she was into it, she would always talk about like, oh, Catholicism was so much better. Like, going to church was so much better when I was a kid going to it. It seems much holier because they would do it in Latin. So what she meant was church was great when I did not know what they were saying. It just seemed like they were spouting gibberish, and it just seemed very holy and regal and elegant. But the music is very like holy and like all very serious and classical. And then I would go to my, like, being in the Deep South, go into like a Baptist church, and they just like got the guitars, and it's just like your little Christian rock band. It was like, this isn't, I can't take this God serious. Like, this God seems like a fool. I should not imagine your God with a mullet. And a Baptist God is a mullet God.
I think the proof that the Christian God doesn't exist is the existence of mullets. Just the fact that was allowed to happen proves that there is no higher power. Mine was kind of an amalgam of that. Like, we definitely had some songs in Latin that we sang, but like not too much. Most of our songs were in English. Some of them were a little bit more modern, like, you know, still spiritual, but like, I don't know. I remember one of the things that my choir director always did, like, she would go through and tell us the correct pronunciation of all of the words so that we would blend as a choir. But then she would also change anytime God was referred to as he, we changed it to just God.
Oh.
We just called it God. So it was a gender neutral God. that we believed in or just sang about. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was
that's that was the other thing of like they was like, oh, God is just like a dude up there. He was definitely a dude, definitely a white dude.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hanging out, and that's the part that I could never really gel with, and why I became mostly agnostic. I was like, I think God should be incomprehensible.
Yeah, I think there is a certain amount of arrogance to the idea of like, yes, I know what God is. Like,
Yeah.
that whole, just the whole idea of like, yes, there's this being whose the extent of whose power none of us will ever truly understand, but like we know all the ways to worship him, and we know what he's gonna punish us for. Like, you never even met the guy, please.
Yeah. Why are you assuming God's pronouns?
Oh, sorry. God doesn't use pronouns. God doesn't use pronouns. Anyway.
So we've gone off into a wild tangent about our religion. I do have like one of my notes on here is just big rock kiss. And I don't know what that means. I cannot recall what I was talking about of big rock kiss.
I'm assuming you're talking about a part where there are two rocks in space and they come together and they like bounce off each other a little bit.
Yes.
And maybe they kiss a little bit because they're friends.
It's in a romantic mood. It's an episode called The Runaway Bride. You're gonna it's like romance in the air, and it's a reminder to Donna of like, oh hey, you can't kiss right now. So you're just gonna watch these rocks get married instead, because the rocks were stay where you are brides.
So
the rocks are lesbians.
Does that mean that the planet Earth is just a massive polycule of rocks that just all got married together in a gravitational ceremony?
Yeah, I think so. Except that like we have the Ragnos, the Ragnarok,
Ragnos.
Ragtime. We have ragtime. And the ragtime is like, I'm gonna sneak my way in there. And it turns out the Ragnos is like the syphilis of the rock orgy that forms the earth.
These metaphors are incredible. Yeah, so we see that the Ragnos become the center of the earth.
Yeah, which, and the earth is I have it on here. The earth is a Kinder Surprise.
Yeah, there's a toy inside.
Now, you mentioned the Ragnos in our previous episode. I still don't know what those are.
Right. Nor should you, because at this point we've only seen their ship. We have not seen what Arachnos looks like, or why they are important. But this episode, this clip, which takes place the formation of the Earth, which was 4.6 billion years ago, that was like what clued me in to put the last clip where it is. Like, it's like, oh, okay, this is the Ragnos-ish time, so I'm going to put that, in that era.
And now I need to, sorry to go back into our Christian God, but since we have affirmed that if nothing else, the Doctor perceives the calendar in terms of our Christian Lord. When does the Doctor think the universe was formed?
I mean, the TARDIS was there. We all saw it.
When the Earth was formed, because I was like, they'll talk about it. If you ask like a minister about it, they'll be like 200 years ago. Next question.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I went by science, which I know is really controversial to talk about on a religion podcast that this has apparently become. But yeah, the general scientific consensus as of this recording is that the Earth was created about 4.6 billion years ago. So that's where it is. I don't know how they did. I think it's just carbon dating, probably, again. It's carbon dating
Yeah.
all the way down.
No, we talked about this. It is River Song just scrubbed through the universe and just went back to the point, and then was like, yeah, it was this time.
Yeah.
It was this time. I rewound the tape, and the tape got to here.
Uh-huh.
So
And
it's this point.
Stitches in Time is the tape. That's what we're watching. We're just watching a tape of the universe existing.
On VHS. You just send me a VHS.
A VHS that's like the size of the moon, just...
Yeah. So with this, I was a little unclear if they're going specifically because of the Ragnos, or initially it seemed like, oh, he's just going because this lady's wedding day just got ruined. Why don't I cheer her up by showing her something like, hey, you're insignificant. The most important day of your life, such a big deal for you. Here's how it doesn't matter. Because you're all just dust.
I mean, isn't there some comfort in that, though? Like...
No.
Alright, maybe there's...
I'm a very, like, afraid of space person. I don't like thinking about how small I am and how big everything is. I don't like... I know some people get that way with the ocean. I'm usually fine with the ocean. I don't like thinking about space, which is
space
difficult.
Is a little bit bigger than the ocean.
It's very difficult being on a Doctor Who podcast because there's a lot of space. There's a lot of it.
Yeah. You know, spoiler alert, space is most of it. It's most of stuff.
Yeah.
Is space.
And they're like, hey, yeah. you're dust. You're just dust. And then some big rocks kiss. And that's you. I can't even take comfort in the, oh, we're all just dust from the universe. It's all meaningless and stuff. Because we're not. Because we're also Ragnos throwing shit in there. And I don't know how that affects everything. Like, it's, all of our dust is touching it. So how do I know that their dust didn't get into our dust? And maybe I'm that. How do I know I'm not that?
They really are the syphilis of this episode. You were right. I wasn't sure how to react to that, but you were correct about that. Yeah, no, I'm the opposite. I'm very much like, we came from dust and we're like we're the same stuff that makes rocks. And like, I feel cool about that because it makes me feel big. It makes me feel like I'm not just like this limited human being with 30 plus years under my belt. Like, the matter that makes me up is like lasts forever, and it just changes form basically.
Yeah, but
real philosophical.
This current form is charged with electrons in this energy that creates a consciousness, and I have to think about stuff and mostly get worried about my taxes.
That's fair.
This form has a credit score. I can't go back to being a rock.
But Mandy, that credit score is made up of star stuff. It's infinite. It has the universe.
It's quite bad.
I do want to mention this is an important milestone, not only because it's the first sight of Earth that we see, but it's also, this is the first clip in this Stitches in Time edit that is more than a minute long.
Yes.
And we get some good, I feel like we get some good character moments between the Doctor and Donna.
The last time that we saw the Doctor, it was just, hey, let's check out a note.
Yeah.
My girlfriend left me a note somewhere, which isn't a lot of character things, I would probably say.
Yeah, so this had a little more breathing room, and it was nice to watch it happen.
It really kind of goes to show, like, it does get to be like a nice moment and kind of like a philosophical thing, and allow Donna to kind of like get out of her own head and her concerns about her day being ruined, which, to me, it is a situation of like, that could have gone one of two ways, because I also kind of think of like, well, just let her feel bad. Let her feel, which like, and the Doctor does a little bit. I was like, okay, well, yeah, also the little stuff does matter the same as the big stuff does.
Mm-hmm.
But that could have gone one of two ways. And also, again, this was a thing that no human being was meant to see. You could have just blown her mind. It was like, I can't think of anything now, but the fact that I'm dust, and just thinking about myself as dust and individual components, and also the Ragnos.
I'm afraid if we keep recording this episode, you're gonna have a full mental breakdown.
I don't. Dust is very similar to sand, and I don't like sand.
It's coarse, gets everywhere.
And I don't like thinking that I am sand. And I am it? No, thank you.
No. All right, fine. You're just a person. Just a normal, boring person, human person. You happy?
I will say that this is nice. The Earth being a Kinder Surprise, it has some thematic relevance to, and like granted, this is spoilers for things that happen later on in the universe, of the moon being an egg. Like it's all just Kinder Surprises all the way down. It's all just everything is an egg. There's nothing. If you have something, there's something else inside of it that's waiting to get out. And also connect with Snake, with the snake, and the snake is inside, and the grand snake. It's all just things inside of other things.
And that's the universe. The universe is just a bunch of things inside other things.
That's why they keep on being like, oh, it's bigger on the inside. Can we just keep finding stuff in there?
The only other piece of trivia I have about this is that, and which I also learned from the audio commentary, is that earlier in the episode, Donna specifically, they had her take her wedding veil off because it would have been bad for the green screen shots in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
In this clip.
Because how do you green screen around a veil? You don't!
You don't. That's all I can say. Because, it's like slightly transparent, and as somebody who has had to do a lot of special effects and green screening in the past, I know that the best way to do it is just do it the right way when you shoot it. Fix it in pre. Yeah. But that's all I have for this episode.
Yeah, what are we watching next time?
Next time we are moving back. We're moving into black and white territory with The Edge of Destruction.
Oh, and so I assume that they're going to deal with this Ragnos problem like right away.
Mandy, Stitches in Time is all about foreshadowing and playing the long game, and like these Ragnos.
But it seemed to be a big problem. Like the doctor was really worried about it, so maybe like the that should be the next thing that they do. But in relation to the universe, because you don't want it to be like a deep rooted issue, like you're spending like billions of years of it just being part of the universe. You like, again, it's the syphilis. It's, if you take care of it early, it's easy. But if you just let it sit in the core of your universe, it's going to cause some problems. So I like the next episode, he must have like just sent a note to himself in the past and be like, hey, I think actually with traffic, you'll get there before I do. I know that I'm closer right now, but I got to take like the freeway is like real busy. Can you just like kind of hop over and just take care? So that's what's going to happen, right?
That might be it. I mean, happen? I think right now we've just been setting up a bunch of threads. We're like, okay, the universe exists, right? There's a message from somebody in a cliff face. There's this Nathan Grand Serpent guy who's just chilling on an asteroid. What's he up to? What is this infinite ship? What does that mean? How is that going to come into play? How are all these things related? What's the Rachnos, and why are they at the center of this planet called Earth? Is Earth going to be important later?
Why was the TARDIS in the middle of the Big Bang?
Why, indeed. you know, it's just we're just in suspense creation mode right now, you know.
Yeah, I'm asking a lot of questions, and every single time I come in and I was like, okay, well, I know where this thing's headed. I know where we're gonna go. Like you set up all this stuff and all this drama is gonna happen.
That's all I have for this episode. So see you next time. We'll send me messages at matrixarchivist@gmail.com. Check out the edit at stitchesintie.me. And I'm going to probably have some socials eventually as well.
Hey, and if for anyone who might be planning a wedding out there and isn't sure how their wedding day is going to go, just know it's okay to be a stay where you are bride.
Yeah. Stay where you are. Or you can always run away. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Stitches in Time. Music by Becca the Matrix Archivist. Art by Mandy Akendo. Logo by Ben Padden. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky at Who Stitched. It's probably good that we live close to each other, just because then it cuts the number of planes in half that we have to deal with.
Lance was right. We're just tiny.
No, but that's what you do. The human race. Makes sense out of chaos.
There's still like there's a big letter we gotta figure out. It's like, hello, sweetie, but I don't even know who Sweetie is yet. Where's Sweetie?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's pretty clear that the doctor is Sweetie. We don't know who the writer of it is.
That is very presumptive of the doctor to just be like, I'm the only Sweetie.
Yeah, what if it's somebody else?
I'm the only Sweetie. Like, hey, that's a very common way to talk about stuff. That's very presumptive. I know we're talking about something from 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
But I've just kind of realized how messed up that is.
It is pretty messed up.